So let's talk about quiet quitting. The term quiet quitting skyrocketed in the United States in July 2022 after a TikTok post from a 24-year-old engineer by the name of Zaid Khan. Now let's talk about what quiet quitting is. There's a lot of definitions out there, but it's a form of passive-aggressive protesting that normalizes doing the bare minimum. Now, it's being discussed as, well, I'm only going to do what is required of me and not another iota more, as if that's honorable. But what it really is doing the bare minimum. And bare minimum thinking and bare minimum working is average to below average. It is settling, and it will absolutely suck the soul out of your body. So why are young people in the United States adopting this mindset? The anti-work movement is another exploding movement in the dark corners of social media. These young people, and dare I say, people my age, middle age, they don't believe that going above and beyond has any return on investment. Why? They've seen their own family members come home exhausted, burned out, depleted, diminished, and they've watched what was the American dream become a nightmare. They don't feel the American dream is attainable. They don't feel that the American dream is all that great. Dare I say, a lot of these young people come from middle class or upper middle class or even upper class environments where their life is a freaking dream. So why would they need anything else? For all of our country's ills, we're still the greatest country in the world. We're still the wealthiest country in the world. So why work hard when everything has been given to you? That's what's going on. Why work hard when a desired future seems impossible? So quiet quitting is a way of protesting the system, sticking it to the man. Your boss didn't have anything to do with your situation, but yet, because they represent authority, because you're angry, because you're vengeful, we're going to stick it to the man and not do a good job. But see, this mindset didn't start with American young people. It's not even an American idea. A very similar movement rose up in China 2 years earlier called Tang Ping. In other words, lying flat. Lying flat was a protest movement that rose to prominence in China in April of 2021 when a post on social media titled "Lying Flat is Justice" went viral. The author was a 20-something Chinese adult who had been jobless for 2 years. The young man blogged about taking himself out of this rat race. He was doing odd jobs, anything he could do just to get by. He was foregoing relational goals like marriage and children because he didn't believe he could afford to do so. Some young adults in China have taken this a step further, and now a new term out of China that I've talked about on the show, adult children. Instead of working odd jobs to get by, instead of forging their own path, they've now decided to just stay at home. And they work for their parents as housekeepers, caretakers, errand runners. And in some cases, they're actually paid money by their parents. In other cases, they get room and board. Why have they chosen this path? Well, a couple reasons. Number one, they don't like the idea of the stress of moving forward on their own professional journey. They don't want the culture of the Chinese workplace. So this has become a revolutionary movement, a protest, a resistance to the Chinese work culture. Lying flat is about saying, I'm not going to go into a world where I work 12-hour days from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. 996 is a very normal rhythm in China. Why? because the Communist Party puts that authoritarian pressure on every member of their society. Why? China needs to be dominant. There is an unhealthy focus on work in China, and in America, an unhealthy focus on not working. So this trend came from China in what I believe is a legitimate protest to say, this is wrong. While human beings were created to work, we weren't created to work like that. And yet here we are in the greatest country in the world, where we have more freedom than any other country. And we've glorified average. We've glorified the bare minimum. We aren't facing communism in this country. What's our excuse? I'll tell you what it is. The excuse is, I'm soft because I've been handed everything in my life. I'm soft because I see great wealth in this country and I feel like I deserve it just because they have it. High unemployment and slow economic growth is now happening in China. Chinese college grads are posting pictures of themselves literally lying flat. A record 11.6 million people have just graduated from college and entered a workforce with very few openings. People are burning out. Chinese youth are facing a very uncertain future, and I think the Chinese economy is going to pay the price. Well, what's their excuse? They've got an excuse. They aren't living a life that is worthy of living. What's our excuse, Americans? We have 7 million working men. 7 million working able men who aren't working. Why? Because our view of work has been so skewed and so broken that now we operate in a world where I don't want to work because I don't like the conditions. And because I don't like the conditions, I'm just not going to work at all because someone can support me. They can support me, so I'm just going to do it. And so what happens? We've got this gap in our economy where we have more and more jobs becoming available, less people willing to actually get out and work. And because less people are willing to work, we don't have options to fill it. Why do I bring all of this up? Because we aren't in an authoritarian society. We are in a free society here in the United States. Very, very different than what is happening in China. Those young people are fighting for their lives. American young people are angry because they want everything handed to them. When they want it, how they want it, where they want it. America isn't working, and we better figure it out quickly.